There's something happening at the bottom of the ocean that is alarming scientists around the world. China is descending, deeper than any nation has ever gone before. And what they are doing down there could cause irreversible damage to ecosystems we don't even fully understand yet. Because while the world debates, they act, and the price of this race may be higher than we imagine. Over the past 10 years, China has invested billions of dollars in submarine technology, unmanned submarines, deep-sea robots, research vessels equipped with heavy machinery. And officially, all of this is for scientific exploration. But marine scientists are seeing worrying signs. Areas of the ocean floor are being mapped in extreme detail. Sediments are being collected in large quantities. Mining equipment is being tested in international waters, and no one is really monitoring it. Because what China is looking for down there is not just knowledge, it is rare metals, strategic resources, materials that would define who controls the technology of the future. And the way they are seeking this could destroy entire ecosystems before we even understand what exists in them. And here's the problem. Once you disturb the ocean floor, there's no going back. There's no undoing it. And we're talking about a place that covers 70% of the planet and that we know less about than the surface of Mars. So let's understand what exactly worries scientists, what's at stake, and why it should matter to you too. Welcome, I'm Andre Mello, and this is another Planeta. But before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content, and leave your like so that this content reaches more people. Agreed? Now, observe carefully. Let's start with what China is looking for. Cobalt, nickel, manganese, copper, rare metals that are inside your mobile phone, your computer, electric car batteries. Everything we call future technology depends on these elements. And the problem is that they are concentrated in a few places around the world. China already dominates the refining of many of these metals, but it also wants to control the source. And it has discovered that there are huge reserves at the bottom of the ocean. Scattered across the ocean floor, especially at depths between 4,000 and 6,000 meters, are polymetallic nodules. These are dark stones the size of potatoes, which grow slowly over millions of years. Inside them are extremely high concentrations of these precious metals. According to geological studies, just one area of the Pacific Ocean, called the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, contains more nickel, cobalt, and manganese than all known terrestrial reserves combined. And China has already secured exploration licenses in several of these areas. Through the UN-affiliated International Seabed Authority, they have requested more exploration areas than any other country, officially for research purposes. But scientists know that research is just the beginning. And this is where the concern begins. Because collecting these nodules means dragging giant machines across the seabed, sucking up sediment, crushing rocks, and releasing clouds of particles that spread for hundreds of kilometers. Now comes the part that frightens marine biologists. The ocean floor is not an empty desert. It is full of life. Lots of life. Creatures that took millions of years to evolve in extreme conditions. Bacteria that produce chemical energy. Giant worms. Sponges that can live for centuries. Deep sea fish with unique adaptations. And most of these species have never been studied, nor cataloged, nor named. A study published in the journal Current Biology in 2020 estimated that we may know less than 10% of the species that live in deep waters. 10%. The other 90% are completely unknown. And when you mine the ocean floor, you destroy the habitat of these creatures. Suction machines cannot distinguish between rock and organisms. Everything is sucked up together, crushed, processed. But there's something worse: sediment clouds. When the machines scrape the seabed, they stir up tons of mud and fine particles. These particles remain suspended in the water for weeks, sometimes months, and are carried by ocean currents over enormous distances. This suffocates organisms that depend on filtering water. It blocks light for creatures that still have some ability to see at these depths. And it can affect areas far beyond the mining zone. According to Dr. Lisa Levin, a marine biologist at the University of California, San Diego, a medium-sized mining operation can impact an area equivalent to the size of the city of Sao Paulo. And we are talking about impacts that last for decades, perhaps centuries. And no one has tested this on a real scale yet. All we have are models, simulations, small studies. But China is moving forward anyway. And this deeply concerns the scientific community. But the threat does not stop at biodiversity. There's something else, something that can affect the global climate. The ocean floor stores carbon, a lot of carbon. Marine sediments accumulate organic matter over millions of years, and that carbon stays there, out of the atmosphere, out of the climate cycle. But when you disturb those sediments, you release that carbon back into the water. And eventually, some of it goes into the atmosphere in the form of CO2. A study published in the journal Nature Geoscience in 2022 warned that deep-sea mining could release significant amounts of stored carbon, and at a time when the whole world is trying to reduce emissions, adding more CO2 to the atmosphere is exactly the opposite of what we need. In addition, the ocean floor plays a crucial role in regulating the climate. Deep-sea currents transport heat around the planet. They influence weather patterns, and tampering too much with the ocean floor could have consequences we cannot even predict. Climate scientists are calling for caution. They're calling for more studies, more time. But China is not waiting. And that creates a problem, because the damage could be global. No matter where the mining takes place, the climate consequences will affect everyone. And here's another point of concern. Who oversees it? The International Seabed Authority was created to regulate exploration in international waters. But it has limited resources, few inspectors, little technology, and it depends on the goodwill of member countries to report what they are doing. China has been evasive. Reports of its activities are vague. Data on environmental impact is scarce, and when independent scientists request access to areas that have been explored, they encounter bureaucratic barriers. We're not talking about transparency, we're talking about secrecy. Meanwhile, indirect evidence shows that mining tests are already taking place. Chinese ships have been tracked in sensitive areas. Heavy equipment has been seen being tested, but detailed information is not disclosed. Organizations such as Greenpeace and the Deep Sea Conservation Coalition have been pushing for a moratorium. They want all deep-sea mining to be banned until we have complete impact studies, until we really understand what we're doing. More than 700 marine scientists from around the world have signed a letter calling for a pause, calling for time, calling for responsibility. But countries like China argue that ocean mining is less destructive than land mining, that it does not deforest, that it does not directly affect human communities, and that the metals are necessary for the energy transition. That may be true, but we're talking about a trade-off, destroying one ecosystem to save another. And many scientists believe that this is not a price worth paying. And there is something else that scientists constantly repeat. We do not know enough. We do not know how many species exist down there. We do not know how deep-sea ecosystems connect with the rest of the ocean. We don't know how much carbon is stored. We do not know how the seabed recovers from disturbances. And we are about to mine on an industrial scale without these answers. It's like walking into a dark room and starting to break things without knowing what's in there. You may not break anything important, but you may destroy something essential. And once it's broken, there's no fixing it. Scientists use the term precautionary principle. It means that when you don't know the consequences of an action, you should be cautious. You should wait until you know more. But economic and geopolitical logic does not work that way. China wants to secure resources before other countries do the same. It wants to position itself as a leader, and the environment in this equation becomes secondary. And this is not just a Chinese problem. Other countries also have exploration licenses. Private companies are preparing to enter the game. But China is ahead, and it is setting the pace. So why are scientists so concerned? Because we are talking about irreversible damage. We are talking about unique ecosystems that will never return. We are talking about carbon released into the atmosphere, about lost biodiversity, about climate consequences that no one can predict. And all of this is happening now, without public debate, without transparency, without time to really understand what we are doing. The race for resources is real. The need for metals for clean technology is real. But the way we are going about it may cause more harm than good. And what scares scientists the most is the speed. Because science needs time, it needs data, it needs caution, but politics and economics do not wait. And when you mix haste with a lack of knowledge, the result is usually disaster. What China is looking for at the bottom of the ocean is no mystery. It is resources, power, control over the technology of the future. But the price may be too high, and scientists around the world are trying to sound the alarm before it is too late. Because the ocean is not infinite, it is not exhaustible, and it does not recover quickly. Once you destroy the seabed, it takes millions of years for it to return to what it was, if it ever does. The question is not whether we need these metals. We do. The question is it worth destroying something we don't even know properly yet to get them? Perhaps there are other solutions. Larger scale recycling, development of technologies that use less of these metals, more responsible land-based mining. But until these alternatives become a reality, the pressure on the seabed will only increase. And China is not alone. Others will follow. And once it really starts, it may be impossible to stop. Scientists are concerned, and perhaps we should be too. What do you think? Do you think it's worth it to risk entire ecosystems for rare metals? Or should we look for other solutions? Leave your opinion in the comments. If this video made you think differently, share it. Subscribe to the channel, there's much more here. See you in the next video. Bunny.